Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials on any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
So question which you asked now is, yes, we understood what is a master. What is a cluster here. So what is a cluster? So clustered is basically a logical compute power together. Now this is a cluster. Now powered by multiple worker, multiple node. It can be physical machine, it can be virtual machines. And all this compute we unite together, that's called cluster. Okay. But something else we need to discuss. Here we are talking about the Kubernetes cluster. Understand that Kubernetes cluster means cluster. Yes, there are certain nodes are there, and all this compute unit we are going to make it one. Logically, not physically, is possible. Logically, and that Kubernetes cluster will have a one compute unit in that way. But why do we need a clustering? Simple. See here, you enjoy container technology. You love containers, don't you? How much time it takes to create a container application through the container? 1 second. If you do through the physical machine or virtual machines right now, it will take 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Just see, compare the difference between the 1 second versus 5 minutes benefit. See that how many X you get a benefit. Also, your containers consume less CPU, less RAM, and less storage, no licensing cost compared to VMs. So this is the major benefit which you have. Guys, are you able to hear me, all of you?
Yes.
Why you love
Yes.
container? Simple. See, your organization love container because it can reduce the cost drastically. For what? Which cost? Data center cost. Why you as engineer, software engineer love container? Because you can create a dev environment within a second, QA environment in the second, and production environment within a second. You can roll out the new changes within a second, roll back a new changes in a second. Whatever it runs on your laptop, it will run in your QA servers and the dev servers also. Whatever it run on Azure, it will run on the AWS and any other platform within a second. So this is called portability. You love containers because of this reason, because I told you very straightforward. Container is your app and which has their own runtime resources and running independently. It's not required anything outside of this. They're having their own resources and they take it from the kernel. Everything they take it from the kernel. So that's the reason it runs very efficiently. But the problem, maybe you have a questions like, why do we need Kubernetes in that case? So you want to enjoy this container at the large scale. The same thing I'm discussing again. You want to run at the large scale, but how can you do that? Docker has no capabilities for it. So that's where the Kubernetes is coming, and he's solving all of your problem. The problem, which problem? The scalability problem, which I've discussed in the morning. Scalability problem. Kubernetes doing nothing but solving those problems. How to match the actual number versus design number. How to make the containers accessible over the network to the load balancer, external load balancer. How to deploy without a single second of downtime. How to roll back without a single. So all this problem which you have is solved by Kubernetes. So that's the reason we call it orchestration. So here Kubernetes, here when I say, so how Kubernetes will manage this whole cluster? So they have a one master node. They have a master node. Master node, you have a API server and other server worker node. Actually, this is all two things together is called one cluster. But how this they will talk to each other for the deploying the pod. So that's what the architecture I talked about it. There are 4 components in the master, 3 components in the worker, and how they communicate and for why they communicate, all these things. So ultimate goal is to run your pod not in a one node, run in your data center, multiple node, not run one pod, thousands and thousands of pod, run it in a across the node. That's the job of the Kubernetes. And Kubernetes, when I say typically, I'm talking about the master and the worker components. Are you getting my points?
Yes. So basically the cluster is a combination of master node and the worker node.
Fair enough. Yep.
Am I right?
Yep.
So we can have multiple cluster also.
Yes, you can have a, see, you can have a 1 node cluster also, 2 node cluster also, 2000 node cluster also. It depends on you. You can create a cluster, Kubernetes cluster in your laptop also. No problem.
Yeah.
To make a cluster, what you need a physical machine or virtual machine and these components which I discussed. That's all. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, guys. So this is something which we are going to discuss to conclude the discussion. So we discussed about in a Kubernetes cluster, we have master component. It can be multiple masters also. Worker, I'm saying worker, okay? Worker components. You can have a multiple worker, depends on your number of pods. In the master first component, what you have is API server. Second component we have is etcd. Third component which we have is I forgot, controller manager. And fourth component we have a scheduler, sch scheduler. Now in the worker, we know that first component we have a kubelet. Second component we have is Docker. Third component which we have is kubeproxy. Are you okay with me so far?
Yes. Yes.
Now guys, you have workstation also. Workstation means your laptop. Workstation, what you have? kubectl. Okay, and then you have a JSON file or YAML file. This is called deployment package, basically. Deployment package. Who writes it? You writes it. What is your job? To write this package. How to write it? I'll teach you. Okay, so now let's start again from here. So guys, API server is one application. Mind it, it's one application. So Kubernetes asks all of us. Kubernetes says instruct and say, listen, do you want to run application in Kubernetes cluster? I say yes. Then do one thing, run in the pod. Yep, because Kubernetes manage the pod, you need to run your application in a pod. Fine, no problem. So I run in the pod, my application run in the pod. So pod has what, guys? Tell me. Pod has
Container.
containers. Container come from
Docker engine.
Docker image. Wonderful. Docker image come from
Registry.
registry. Wonderful. So guys, they give us the lecture. If I want to run my application, if I want to run my application, I need to create an image. Then image will become a container, and container will become a pod. I mean, container will come inside a pod. So they ask us to do that. So this is also an application, right? API server is one application. etcd is also an application. Controller manager also has applications. Scheduler is also an applications. Why can't they run their own applications also in the pod? What's the big deal? This is the VMs. They should run this as a pod. So actually they are running it. Yes. All this component which I discussed actually is in pod only. Yeah. Actually this is in pod only. Now which registry it is all these images coming from? Google registry. It's also free, available for everyone. Okay. So now I hope you understood this. All this application which I've been talking about actually is in the form of pod only, nothing else. So now I'm going to ask you a question. Who instantiate a pod? Tell me. Who instantiate a pod? All of you, quickly, please.
Kubelet.
Kubelet. So don't you think this kubelet has to be there in the master also? Now, who create a container?
Pod.
Docker. Don't you think so? Docker has to be there here also? Who give the pod IP address?
Proxy.
Proxy.
Don't you think so? It has to be there here also. See here. So master node also can act like a worker. You see that component? Because master itself has a kubelet, Docker, kubeproxy. Now guys, I told you one thing very clearly. Every other component talk to API server. So how this you can communicate with API server, which using which utility? How the workstation talk to the API server?
kubectl.
kubectl. So don't you think, sir, here this also should be there? Think logic. Okay. So in actual, these all are pod. And in fact, one more thing I must tell you, kubeproxy is also pod. This cannot be a pod because see here, kubelet itself create a pod, so it cannot be a pod. Docker cannot be a pod. Why? Because Docker itself has to talk to the kernel, so it cannot be a pod. kubectl cannot be a pod because it's a utility. Using that you can talk to each other, so it cannot be a pod. So this is the master, and a worker is this one. I hope you understood now. Architecture, little bit elaborated one. Did you understand, all of you? All of you?
Yes.
Wonderful. Great.
I
So
have a
guys, you
quick
tell me.
question here, Rajesh. So
Yeah.
kubectl is like a client, right? It allows you to invoke certain commands on the API server.
API server. I'm basically you can this take as a like API request creator or passer or something like that.
Okay. So it's more like a client then.
Yeah, API client.
So does master also need such a client? Who would invoke kube control inside the master?
See, these all component talk to API server, right? Internally. Remember the image?
Okay.
This component. So for that, these also need to use that kubelet to talk to API server.
Okay. They internally use kube control to invoke the API server. Got it. Thank you.
kubectl. Yeah.
Yeah.
More questions, guys? Yeah. So guys, this is the real master, and worker will have this many component, out of which kubeproxy also will be in a pod format. Okay. And workstation will have a kubectl and JSON and YAML package. Now, next thing is understand that very simple flow I'm talking about it. I'm not writing all these points right now, but please hear me out. So if I want to set up master, think simple way. Okay, think simple way. If I want to set up a master, first thing what I have to do is I need to create a pod. Then I need to fill a container. Then after that, I need to assign an IP address to the pod. After that, once these all components are running manually, I'm talking about, then I need to generate a certificate for each one of these. CSR certificate and approve with the master server. This certificate, because API communication authentication is required, right? Without that, no anyone can talk to anyone, right? So security is important. So certificate based security, token based security, for that, all this thing I need to set it up. I need to open up a port from here. All this configuration is required. Who's going to do that so much of work? Because if I do manually, it may be resulted in 200 steps. And these 200 steps, if I miss one step, my cluster will not work. Think about it. So many things are there. Cluster set, pod creation, container creation, mapping of the pod with IP address, certificate creations, getting a certificate authorized, port opening, port mapping, configuration here and there are all 10 things actually. I will get mad. You will get mad. So what do we do in this case? So guys, all these magical things which I explained it to you just now, that can be done by magical tool which is called KubeADM. KubeADM means Kube Administrator. KubeADM is a tool to manage a cluster. I repeat, KubeADM tool is a managed cluster. KubeADM. Init. This is the command. This magical command will create everything and make it ready, ready and available within a 4 minutes without you doing anything else. So KubeADM is a command to do all stuff. Yeah, you can customize the installations also using the KubeADM, but to be simple, KubeADM init will initialize your cluster, master cluster. Did you understand that, all of you? Did you understand, all of you?
Yes, Rajesh.
Wonderful. So you don't do anything, guys. Simple. I'll tell you step number 1. Install kubelet, install docker, install kubectl, install kubeadium, and run the command called kubeadm. Everything is getting ready. Simple. Master server got ready with these steps. That's all. Now you want to set up a worker. Install download kubelet, docker, kubectl, and run kubeadium join. So the moment you run this command, kubeadium join, this worker will get attached to this master automatically and will become a part of the cluster. Okay, are you understanding it? Init means initialize the master. Join means initialize the worker for the masters. Very simple. There are few more commands you need to pass, but I'll leave it up to the demo and to understand. So if you want to set up a master, init. If you want to set up a worker, join. Simple. Master and worker setup is completed, and after that you can talk to the kubectl to API server, and rest of the things you know that by now. Did you understand that, all of you?
Yes.
Wonderful.
This conference will now be recorded.
So what I am doing right now is I have created 2 VMs. One of these VMs is master, one of this VM is worker. Only one master right now I'm setting up, only one worker. So now this VMs I've created on Azure. This is also Azure. Now the minimum requirement is 2 CPU, 4 GB RAM. Minimum requirement is 2 CPU, 4 GB RAM. I forgot to check how much I got it, by the way. So how can I check? Overview here, and here if I see, here it is. See here, 2 CPU, 8 GB RAM. That's sufficient for me, my requirement. I was very scared because if by default the setup will be lower, then again I have to delete all the instance. So that's good. Both the machines I am having for 2 CPU, 8 GB RAM, but minimum requirement 2 CPU, 4 GB RAM. Now what to do? So here I have a step-by-step guide. The URL which I'm having here, this note I'll be sharing in some time after the demo during the lab. So please look at it. Here, what is a KubeADM? Here I did talked about it, but again you should Google it, and little bit of spending time. You should do that. You should try to find out what is kubectl, KubeADM. These are the things which I have already explained it. Okay, so some of the tools I have explained it to you, some of the tools I have introduced you, but you should Google it and find out why, because all these are open source code, and quick reading is available at the Google and their official pages itself. So Cubadium, goal for the Cubadium, and some of the prerequisite which you have to set up a master server, and these are the tools which you're going to install it. So Cubadium, Kubelet, kubectl, Docker, CNI for networking and all, you need it. Now here I'm talking about the master setting up the Kubernetes control plane. Again, guys, please look this instruction very well. By the way, official documents also you find it at Kubernetes website. That is also great resources, but it's just like I have customized myself with a particular information at one place. So master, and if you go little down, workstation setup, and if you go a little bit down, worker setup, very precisely it's planned, so you have to check it out. Now here, if I do step number 1, typically you are changing the hardware address for the VM VirtualBox. Am I using VirtualBox? No. So VirtualBox I'm not using it, so I'll skip this step number 1. Step number 2, changing the host name. Typically when you create a VMs manually and then from the some images, then all the host name is remain same, but Azure and AWS, they give you the unique host name all the time. So do you need to do step number 2? No. Firewall and all, typically on cloud we control through the security groups, right? In AWS also and Azure also. So do you need to do this one? No, though, but we have some issues, then we'll run this command in each of this node. So here I run it. Oh, I think it didn't get copied, and it was required the password. So sudo -s, I'll become a root. That's the best way. I run it, and you disable it for tomorrow and day after tomorrow. And here also you can do that in this machine, and here also you have to become a root and stop it and firewall day. That's all. You can do that. You should do that if it is at the VMs level, but typically in the cloud we control through the security groups. Disabling the swap, you don't need to do that. This also. Why? Because in the VMs it's already done. So here step number 1, 2, 3, 4, you don't need to do that. From here step number 5, you have to do that. So what's to be done? Install the Docker Community Edition. So I'm installing it, just following by instructions. So you see here I'm setting up the master. So my white is master right now, so one by one I'll set it up. So here I'm running it. And CentOS, I'm using CentOS 7, so please be aware of it. We all should be using the same version, so at least the configuration and installations command will remain same. Ubuntu has a little bit different command for all of this. Done. Finally, I will run this command also. And I will run this command also. This is the Docker installations which I'm doing right now. Then this, and then this. So this command is installing the Docker. And finally, after that, you have to start the enable this Docker services. start this Docker services, and finally just check it out, Docker is okay or not. Wonderful, it's there. So everything's good. Now step number 6, guys, this is the one command, by the way. So you copy paste. This is basically adding the repository of Kubernetes related tools to the yum repo. Done. Finally, step number 7, set in 40, and this is a manual way of doing it. Now finally, this is the command which I'm installing all the tools like kubectl, kubelet, kubeadm, kubectl and all. So here you are installing through yum. Done. And finally, I'm going to enable the kubelet in the master. Done. And guys, this is the magical command. Remember here, match the discussion. Here I said in the master setup, you have to run in it. Here, master setup. So this is the command I'm going to run it. Init. And this will set up a master. This magical command will set up a master, all the component certificate, and you see that you can read that log and analyze that line by line and understand that what is happening. Self messages are there. It'll take, see, right now it's pulling the images. So everything will be done by kubeadm. Don't need to worry about it. You don't have to do manually anything. And she's generating a certificate, signing a certificate and all. Here writing a configuration file for master and some static port they are creating for, you see here, API server, controller manager, kube scheduler and all. Okay. So it may take up to the 4 minutes, but it's done. So guys, my master is set up. Please read this message carefully. Your Kubernetes control plane has initialized successfully. And please copy this code. Again, I repeat, copy this code in your notepad. If you don't copy, then again, you will losing a time, yours time. So copy this whole things, whatever you got it after the successful message in your notepad. Keep it with you, safe till I ask you. Okay, so this is the things. Now I did the output 10, I got it. My master is successfully done. Was it difficult? Tell me, was it difficult to set up a master cluster, master server? All of you? Guys, are you there? Am I audible?
Yeah, Raj, are you sharing the link now?
Hello?
You are very much audible, Rajesh.
Yeah. Everything is okay, guys?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
everything is okay.
So now I'm setting a workstation. Workstation means your laptop. But you know what, guys? I want to set up a workstation in one of the machine which is inside a cluster. Please hear me out clearly. I want to set up a workstation in one of the machine inside a cluster. So what I have decided, master machine itself, I'll make a workstation for the time being. But how to set up workstation? So I'll become a normal user. Earlier I was a root user. I'll become a normal user, Azure user. I repeat, master server only you should make a workstation. You must be wondering why. There is no limitation as such, but there is a demo. The flow of the demo will be much more smoother if you have a workstation and mastered in the same server, because I want you to validate something quickly instead of jumping this server or that server. Be in that master itself. So master itself, I'm setting up the workstation. So how do you set up the workstation? Step number 11. So being a normal user, regular user, look at it. Run this command. All these are basics Linux command. If you read it carefully during the lab, you'll understand it. Copying some files from some location to one location. And
to watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option.
Giving the permissions of it. That's all. Workstation setup is done. Now with these commands has done it, I think you are best to judge it. Okay, now how do we verify the clusters? So get nodes. These are the commands to validate the cluster. And you see here, your cluster is available, it's a master. See here, but status is not ready. That's okay, be cool. It's the latest version of Kubernetes, set up 2 minutes 47 seconds ago. So see, it's pending, is okay, no problem. Don't be panic. Here it is. See here, remember I used to tell you in a master we have all these pods. I listed all the pods in all the namespaces: scheduler pod, kubeproxy pod, controller pod, master API server pod, etc. See here all this stuff. And pending, this is the pending. This is the discovery services pending. Why it's pending? There are reasons for it, and the answer is here. Networking is not available for discovery. Also, it will not be available. Remember, discovery networking is interrelated. Now I want to not complicate more right now. I would ask you to install the pod networking blindly. Why? Because we have a half-day session dedicated for it, networking. We'll discuss a little bit more in detail. Today I'm trying ViewNet networking, which is overlay, very good one, ease to set up and everything. So what you have to do, install Kubernetes pod networking with this command. Okay, so from where I got this command and all, I'll discuss a little bit later. This has done something wonderful, it will install. So I install the pod networking. After that, if I do the get nodes, and you see it's not ready, just wait for a few more seconds. Have a little bit patience. Now it's ready. So pod networking, the moment we install, the cluster will become ready. So now if you run same command, get pods, now those pods which was pending, now it's running. Okay, get nodes, everything is running. And that's all, your master is set up, workstation is set up as well. So remember, 13th step is the end of the workstation. Now you have to set up a worker. So worker means, see here, I have said very clearly, don't get confused here. Worker means it's my black screen. So I'll go to my black screen. Here it is. Okay, clear the screen. I hope it is visible to everyone. And here in the black screen, to set up a workstation, worker, what I have to do is so I need to follow the step number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, not 9. Here also I said, if you remember, how to set up a worker join command. So here what I'm going to do, 1 to 8 I'll follow. I know that from the step number 1 to 4 I can ignore it. 1 2 3 4. Why? Because we are in cloud, not in a VM. So from here I'm going to start with. So let me, I'm logged in as a root. I'm installing the Docker again. That's a step number 5. One worker I'm setting up manually. That way you understand that how to set up a worker. You can duplicate stuff. This command will install the Docker Community Edition. Do it very carefully. Don't rush. Read each and everything. Understand it. Okay. This is the world of open source. If you have some doubts, immediately Google it. Immediately you get information available. Most of the things I've explained it already. So I feel it should be comfortable by now. I'm going to start the enable the Docker services for tomorrow. I'm going to start the Docker for today and Docker info. Docker is done. I see that. Finally, I'm going to add this repo. And finally, I'm going to set in for 0. And finally, I'm going to install all the tools required for the worker. Worker and master, both the tool set will remain same, okay? There's no difference. That means if you want to configure 10, 20, 30, 40 machines, it's just one script will work for you. Just the only command differs. Init is for master, join for worker. Remember, all the time. Done. And finally, enable the kubelet. That's all. Do not run line. Many people, what they do, they continuously run blindly, and the worker also they set up a master. Do not do that. Please, I repeat, do not run step 9 in the worker, because I did not ask for it. Still only follow it. After that, you have to run the join command. This do not copy and paste it blindly, because this is my command, older command. I will explain you all these commands one by one, not now, but later when the setup is done. So here, where do you get this command here? So this is the place you get the command here. You should copy this command here and run in the worker. You got that command which I asked you to copy it already. There's a problem here. Problem is this should be one line actually. Code has been broken. Yeah, now if I copy, clear the screen, and this is the worker, black screen, and here you have a problem. Okay, so guys, some problem is here in the this one,
It takes
and
copy. Didn't copy the complete.
Yeah, you didn't copy it fully.
what is that?
You didn't copy it fully, I guess.
Which copy?
Whatever you
The
have
command
copied,
in the
right?
note.
I think it is not complete.
Why is it?
From notepad.
Okay, I did not know this. Okay, this is the different error, no problem. I have a fix for it. Okay, so this problem, whenever you face, you should not get an error. I'm not sure about how I am getting this error, because of fresh installation I should not get an error, but no need to worry about it. I'll give you the fix for it. You should go to devopsschool.com/blog and search for it, that error. Okay, I'll share with you the URL anyways. I'm doing in front of you, so you should search for that, and now you should get some response. This is a little slow. Here it is. So cube related problems which you have here. And I'm just looking for the which error. I got this error. What is the solution? So they're asking ignore it, but this is not right solution, because it's for the init I'm having with the join. So this is also problem. So here is a solution. So what I should do, don't do blindly, read it. It's a VI editor. I'm doing it. And here I am adding this line. I'm not expecting this error with you, because I know that why I got the error. I run 2 commands with some way, not without completing it. That's the reason I got an error. So this I modified here. This I did it here. And after that, I'm going to rerun the join command. So can I run the join command now? Okay. So you found out the fix and apply the fix, and please read this message. This node has joined this cluster. That means this node is a part of the cluster now, and the fix you have it here. So error and solution is here. Okay, accordingly. So now this is done. Now worker I don't need to touch. I need to come back to the workstation. This is my workstation. Get nodes, and here you have a master and worker. And now with these steps, I'm able to configure master. This is the tutorial which I followed, and these are the two machines I have got ready, and you will do it precisely what I did. Any confusion? Did you get it, all of you?
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.